Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today. And yesterday in the UK, pubs were allowed to open and allow people inside for the first time in nearly a year. And of course, due to this, a lot of people are going to be going out in the next days and weeks. And this story is definitely a reminder of the precautions to take and also the situations to avoid. The murder of Reece Cox last year on August the 15th. He was a loving father. He was beaten to death by a group of men that had been out in the Sedgley area drinking. The footage emerged of the brutal killers who have been jailed today, beating the man and then go on to take his life. West Midlands Police have published the footage of the horrific attack on the gentle giant, as he was described by his family, who had stepped in to protect a man that he barely knew from getting beat up. The 24-year-old was set upon savagely, they said in court, at the Clifton pub in Sedgley. The punches rained down on him and he was kicked in the head as he lay on the floor. The CCTV shown to the jurors has convicted 5 men of his murder and a 6th of his manslaughter. They tried to say it was self-defence, but a jury seen through this. On Wednesday, May the 12th, the 5 of them, Shaquel Jones, Burke, Shaquel Halliday, Ashwin and Sebastian Jones, were jailed for life. They will serve a combined total of at least 87.5 years before they will be considered for release. Ryan Nickin, 22, was jailed for manslaughter for 12 years. Mr Cox was a father of 1 and he'd been on a night out with friends like so many people have done and will be doing in the next week. None of these people knew each other, so this just goes to show that a decision that you make in a situation that you've never been in before can affect the rest of your life. Towards the end of the night, Reece had split up with his friends to go and buy food before going home. 2 people Mr Cox had met that night were heading towards a taxi rank when one of them accidentally bumped into a teenager called Joe Williams. He was described in the courtroom as well known in the Sedgley area and he gave no comment in all of his interviews. He began to attack one of the men with his friend Ashwin, who dragged him into the road and back towards the Clifton pub. Mr Cox was described as somebody that would always step in to help out, and he didn't like what he saw when this happened, so he stepped in to help. Ashwin and his friends then surrounded Mr Cox and beat him to death. A post-mortem examination revealed he died from blunt force trauma to the head. And Shaquel Jones, Blake, Shaquel, Ashwin, Sebastian and Nickin were convicted of violent disorder and also ABH. At the start of the trial, 2 other men, Tyrone Halliday, 24, and Williams, aged 18, pleaded guilty to affray and causing ABH, and Tyrone Halliday was given a 2-year community order for affray and ordered to undertake 150 hours of unpaid work and 20 days of rehabilitation. Williams was sentenced to 10 months in prison that was suspended for 2 years, and he must also complete 25 days of rehabilitation. His family said that he was never aggressive and he would always stick up for people if they was in the right. And he's been taken away from his family and they would never be the same again. And they went on in another interview to explain the effect on this man's young boy and the fact this boy has to come into a world that is difficult enough as it is. And he now doesn't have his dad there to support him through it. They said that Reece and his son had an amazing bond and it has broken everybody's hearts that he will never be there for them again. Reece was a hero that night and he lost his life trying to save someone. And I hope that his son grows up to understand what a good person his dad was and that he loved him very much. Detective Inspector Laura Harrison from West Midlands Homicide Team said what is so upsetting about what happened to Reece is that anyone could have been Reece that night. He was simply on a night out with friends and tried to intervene and it cost him his life. Reece was an innocent member of the public and he wasn't out to cause trouble. He simply went out to have a good time and these men were out looking for a fight, and because of somebody bumping into someone, this escalated into murder. So I beg you today to really, if you find yourself in a situation like this, just walk away. Just literally just walk away, because this is not worth your life. So some condolences to the family of Reece and especially his son as well. And I wish him all the best in the future. Rest in peace to Reece Cox.